Hey Cancer, welcome to December. This month could really be having you thinking a lot about your relationships as well as your own self-care. And the moon, your ruling planet, is obviously playing a pretty big role in this month's eclipse. Before we get too far into this video, my name is Michael. For those of you who are brand new to this channel, I want to welcome all of you back who are joining me again. I know it's been quite some time since I have been on YouTube and uploaded one of these videos. I'm super excited to see what we have in store for you. But before we dive in, I do just want to let you all know that I'm running my holiday sale. All of my services are currently 25% off on my website until December 21st. So if you are looking for a reading or Reiki session with me, now is a great time to book. I think that the new year is a great time to see what we have in store for us for the year ahead. So if you want to get a reading, now is the perfect time. All of my links are in the description box down below, as well as links for the astrology blog that accompanies this video. You can also find me on all of my other social media accounts and follow me there too. I do appreciate that. And let's see what we have in store for you for December. So as I was saying, Cancer, you are ruled by the moon, so it should come as no surprise that this eclipse is really going to be quite impactful for you. Specifically, this is finishing up a cycle that has been occurring in your 6th house of routine, health, and wellness, and kind of just your daily life, as well as your subconscious 12th house, your spiritual self, your intuition, your dream world. And very often these two houses are kind of connected because when you really think about it, we're kind of going through our life on autopilot most of the time. And for the past year and a half, it's been really hard for you to just kind of go with the motions. You've been very aware of things. There's been a lot of things that have been coming to the surface. And we actually are kind of finishing up that theme as well with the full moon later this month that is going to be in Gemini, again in your 12th house. So there's a lot of things that could be coming to the surface from your subconscious, but honestly, I think you've already done a lot of that work. I do actually have some cards already pulled for you here. We have the Ace of Cups showing up in the past. And this could be referring to a relationship. This could also be referring to really just taking care of yourself, connecting to your intuition. All of these things could potentially be true. I actually almost feel like, Cancer, there's something that you have found passion in or joy in, or there is a passion or joy that you could be reconnecting with. And I think when the nodes are shifting on the 22nd, so the north and south node, which is where the eclipses occur, they're finishing up the Gemini and Sagittarius cycle and then going into Taurus and Scorpio, and we already had that Taurus influence in November with the first eclipse. I do feel like there is something creative or something that you are very passionate about that you are actually going to be able to be successful at with the Four of Wands. Or something that you really care about is finally getting recognition or is growing. And if it's not, then you know it has the potential to. You have this intuition of something that could be quite successful for you or something that could be worth celebrating later down the road. And I kind of want to tell you too, with this Venus retrograde that is happening in your 7th house, this is happening in relationships. So there is a lot of focus on partnerships towards the second half of this month. When Venus goes retrograde on December 19th, the day after that full moon, there's also something else that happens. I think Chiron goes direct that day as well. There's quite a few things that are happening this month, so I really recommend checking out the blog linked down below just to make sure that you are getting the full picture here. But with this Venus retrograde, kind of right after this full moon, it's like you could be seeing patterns in relationships that you've kind of reincarnated without realizing. You might be attracted to the same person over and over again, or in relationships you're kind of encountering the same miscommunications or same arguments or conflicts. These things that have been kind of on repeat, that might just be something that comes up for you. I do see with the Chariot and the Magician here showing up in the present, or the energy that's going to be really dominant for the immediate moment of this month. There is something that you could be manifesting. Honestly, when I see the Magician, though, especially with some of the cards I've pulled here as well, I almost want to tell you to be really discerning with someone, especially if there is a Gemini or a Virgo or someone who's very mercurial, who talks a lot, or who thinks a lot. That's just kind of a message I'm getting. But I'll kind of get into that in a moment. What I really want to focus on here for you for the month of December is really figuring out how you want to move forward. And figuring out this kind of balance and willpower to make the things you want to have happen. If there has been something that you've not acted on, something that your intuition is telling you will be quite successful, I feel like there's a big impetus for you to move towards that thing. And with the eclipses, with the nodes shifting, which again is happening around the solstice on the 22nd of December, these are entering into your 11th house and your 5th house. The North Node is entering your 11th house, your house of social networks and friendships, but also hopes, wishes, dreams. And there really could be this impetus to suddenly start putting yourself out there on social media or to really start networking in some way, kind of just putting yourself out in the world. And you could be doing that with a talent that you have or a skill that you have. I do want to say, again, when it comes to your love life, one of the challenges that you could be having, Cancer, there might actually be multiple people that you are kind of in your orbit in December, or maybe even in January when Venus is still retrograde. There might be some people who aren't worth your time and energy. I did clarify this energy, the Seven of Cups, with the Lovers and Two of Cups. So again, there's a big emphasis on relationships here, which really, really is not surprising. But I don't think you should be rushing into a relationship, okay? And I feel like there might be an urge for you to do that with the Magician and the Chariot. Because there might be something about this person that hasn't been totally revealed to you, or something about your relationship that hasn't become totally apparent to you, and you might want to kind of slow down that pace. I really do wonder if some of you are actually choosing between two people. Again, there is Gemini energy with the Lovers, so there could be a Gemini that you are dealing with. If there really isn't a focus on relationships and that's not resonating for you, there is also this message of you really needing to commit to something that you love. And that is coming up with the Two of Cups and the Lovers. It's not always about romance with these cards, okay? And you might not really be sure what it is that you should pursue right now, but I feel like there's something that you are going to be pursuing in the future, in the near future, by the end of December, with the Knight of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles here. Again, you're rushing into a lot of abundance or stability. That's something that's really, really interesting to me. And there's a lot of beautiful energy here for you. There's actually a lot of things happening in Pisces right now. And that's really fueling you creatively. Or really fueling you kind of to learn about new things as well. And we do have Mars in Scorpio this month, or at least at the start of this month, so there's a lot of watery aspects that are trining with you naturally, depending on where your Cancer placements are. And it's really actually helping you kind of become more creative. I feel like for some of you specifically, obviously this is a general reading, so it's going to be different things for all of you, but I'm getting a big emphasis on some form of writing. There is something that could, something to do with writing that is very important, whether that's poetry or long form writing. Some kind of writing, I think, is really going to be important. And if it's not writing, it's some sort of intellectual or creative pursuit like that. And I think you'll be quite successful in that in the long run. But I think right now, you're having a hard time committing to what you want, with these cards, sort of showing up as a challenge here. And with this Venus retrograde, it's definitely not a time to be impulsive with relationships or finances either. And some of you might be trying to invest a lot of money in something. Really practice it first. Get a feel for whatever it is you want to do before you jump into it. That's another message I'm getting. Let's pull some animal cards here for you as well, Cancer. Ooh. That's way too many. Let's try that again. What are the animal messages for Cancer? Okay, Firefly, creativity, inspiration. That could be coming and going, honestly. That could be waxing and waning. And you know, Firefly actually does represent, I almost think of this as like courtship, actually, because when fireflies are lighting up, a lot of the time it is to communicate with one another, but it is also to attract a mate. And there could be a lot of people around you with the Seven of Cups. You might have some choices to make when it comes to love or relationships. But I feel like some of those energies are not so great for a lot of you. So if you find yourself feeling like you need to choose between two different people, or maybe choose between a person, or just kind of keep your options open, I feel like you should stay more open in this time. And the Elephant. Really, you know, really beautiful energy actually here too, because it is like this message of faith, holding this fire, removing obstacles. If you feel like there are things that are stuck in your life, there is something about you that's very, very supercharged this month with the Chariot and with the Elephant here too. And as someone who's ruled by the moon is quite literally eclipsing the sun at the beginning of this month. And again, we'll be in the sign of Gemini, or we'll have a full moon in Gemini around the 18th. And that is a very psychic and spiritual time for you, actually. And a lot of things are coming to surface. So really pay attention to your dreams as well. Because the thing with Firefly, it's like needing to act in the moment. If you have a creative impulse, just do it. Rush into it. Be the Knight of Swords. If you feel like you need to create something, do it. If you have an idea that feels like something that could potentially be fruitful for you, act on that. Don't stay stuck in your mind here. Don't stay stuck in the daydream here with the Seven of Cups, okay? Because there's a lot here that's pushing you forward. And also being ruled by the moon, the fact that the nodes are changing is something that you should always be mindful of as well. Because the moon changes signs every 2 days, there's a lot in your energy that changes a lot. Your emotions will fluctuate naturally. That's what Cancer is all about as a sign. It's the fluctuations, it's the tides. And when you really want to get a bigger perspective of what is going on for the Cancer collective, instead of just looking at the moon, also look at the nodes, and also pay attention to where Lilith is as well. That's going to be really, really important. That's just a message I think some of you need to hear, which is the apogee of the moon. And if I'm not mistaken, that is currently in Taurus, or it may be in Gemini. It's one of those two. I only say that because the last eclipse that we had was in the apogee, and that's why it was the longest eclipse in over 500 years, that eclipse that we had in November. So really paying attention to where Lilith is and the nodes are, because these are all related to the moon. The moon actually has a lot of different influences in astrology that a lot of people aren't even aware of or make connections with. So with the nodes shifting, there really is this focus on kind of entering into this Taurus energy. There's going to be a lot of focuses on finances, on long-term stability, and changes that we need to make economically. Those are going to be major themes over the next couple of years. But for you specifically, that is actually falling in your house of friendships, social networks. That is your 11th house. So again, really pursuing your dreams. Act on your dreams. That's really, really important. And I was saying earlier to to pay attention to your dreams. Write them down. Because Firefly is sort of this spark of inspiration, it reminds me of dream work a lot too, because we'll wake up from a dream that was so vivid, we're sure we'll remember it, and then it's like the moment we got out of bed, we lose half of it. So keep a dream journal by the side of your bed. There could actually be potentially even like a creative idea that comes to you in your sleep. Especially if you are someone who is kind of a creative person, fantasy or sci-fi person, there could be an idea that comes to you during this time. That's something that would make a lot of sense to me. And there actually is quite a bit of energy by the end of this year that is really helping us stick with our resolutions for the next year. We have the sun trining Saturn, or I'm sorry, the sun trining Uranus in Taurus. And we also have Saturn, I believe it's trining or sextiling Mars. Either way, there's a lot of discipline that we have available to us by the end of the month. So really tap into that, because I think you could actually be creating quite a bit of abundance. Oops, dropped the card. Quite a bit of abundance here for yourself with this 10 of Pentacles, but you need to act on it. So act on this brilliant idea, and don't get distracted in relationships right now, especially with Venus retrograde. It will be going direct towards the end of January. It's 40 days long. So really just focus on the things that really need your attention for now. Don't let yourself be swept up by somebody else, because honestly, I feel like there's someone who might not be exactly what they seem with the Magician. They might have something up their sleeve. And I think you need to really focus and harness your own magic. And even if this person is as great as they seem, or if there is someone really wonderful who steps into your life, I feel like there's still this potential for you to miss out on this magic that is going to be available to you. So just keep that in mind for December, and that is all that I have for you this month. I do hope that this video was helpful and resonant for you. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if it was. Let me know in the comment section down below what in particular resonated with you or what stood out to you. I'd love to hear it. I always think those synchronicities are super interesting. I know that this time of year is really challenging for many of you, and my heart goes out to anyone who is struggling or feeling lonely during this time of year. I'm wishing you a very happy, safe, and healthy December. All of my links, again, are available in the description box down below, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.